This has been an important week for British Defence. We started on Monday with a speech from the Chief of the General Staff, Chief of the Army, General Sir Nick Carter at RUSI. And that speech focused on the ways in which the Army is beginning to transform itself in response to the much greater concern about the possibility that our forces may have to be deployed against a capable state adversary, most of all Russia, of course. And the sort of capabilities you need for those operations, those deterrent operations, are very different from those that the Army has been involved in for the last quarter of a century, in the Balkans, in Sierra Leone, in Iraq and Afghanistan. Very different sort of opponent, and in many ways a more challenging opponent. And that means we have to give much more attention to protecting our forces against capable conventional missiles, conventional artillery that the Russians might deploy. It means we have to think more about dispersal of our forces, of being able to operate longer range systems ourselves, about the logistics of getting forces from one part of Europe to another rather quickly. And that affects, of course, all the services. But General Sir Nick gave quite a lot of meaty detail, if you like, as to how the Army is going along that path, that transformation, which is only just starting.
We have to recognise that readiness is about speed of recognition, speed of decision-making and speed of assembly.
We're also at a critical moment in the government's National Security Capability Review, which started in July last year. And covers the whole of government, not just defence. But the defence element of that review has really come to a bit of a crisis point in which, on the one hand, the new Secretary of State and Defence, Gavin Williamson, is arguing that in order to take forward the new programmes the Ministry of Defence is committed to, he needs a bit more money. And the Treasury, which is saying the Ministry of Defence made promises for efficiency savings and transformation, which it hasn't carried out. And we'll see over the next months where that comes out. I suspect we may get a bit more money for defence, but only in return for more credible promises from the Ministry of Defence for more rapid transformation and more hard choices in terms of priorities and giving up some lower priority capabilities. What I think is clear is that we don't have too much time to complete such a review, because every month we continue to appear to be dithering about these important hard choices on defence. In the review, which after all started last summer, the more I think our reputation as a country of getting our act together and a country that actually has a pretty good story to tell in terms of meeting the 2% commitment, having a defence budget which is more geared to operations than many other countries, the strongest military power in Western Europe. The more that reputation, I think, needs to be eroded. So one way or another, however much money is available, I think the government does need to get its act together and bring this review to conclusion in an expeditious manner.